Good morning, Magic 100 listeners, and you on Forsyth Cable. Thanks for joining the Reporter on the Air. This is it, guys, the big TV radio show. I still don't have a great introduction. How do you say we're everywhere on media? But I'm Will Davis.
That's pretty good. If you just say you're everywhere on the media, you got Facebook, you got the TV, we've got the radio, and most of all, you have subscribers to your newspaper.
You can find us anywhere. That's Don Daniel. He's the founder of the Monroe County Reporter, 1972. That's Richard Dumas, who was just a gleam in his daddy's eyes in 1972, but he joined us much later as our news editor and sports editor. I'm Will Davis, publisher and editor, and we're here to talk about the events of the week in Monroe County. Where do you want to start, Don?
Well, let me start, okay? I was gone for a week. It never failed. When I leave town for a week, this county and this city goes to hell in a handbasket. You know, it never fails.
You should stay here.
You can't go any more trips.
Hey, if I stay here, dude, y'all wouldn't have anything to write about.
Why don't you let?
I think we'd probably find something.
Why don't you let me use your Sky Miles and you can just stay put?
That's fine. That's fine. I got to go something. Will and I were talking before we went on the air. Forsyth Design and Review Board rejects Rose's solution for crumbling bricks. That is the most asinine, most stupid decision. But, you know, Design and Review Board, they like to be in control. You know, so what happens when the whole wall falls down? The city said, anyway,
why?
You said the same thing when before
You reverse it, Don. You go to the absolute back page of the newspaper.
That's right.
Score from the back frontwards.
That's right.
I don't understand it. You know, the Rose Theater is not sitting on a big endowment. They don't have millions of dollars sitting in the bank somewhere. They're trying to fix a problem with their facility,
That's right.
their beautiful building. And I understand that this wall would have to be kind of a grayish color to seal it, but it would be sealed. It would preserve it for history.
So, no, not preserve it for history. It'd save the thing from leaking and everything else. But, you know, the Design and Review Board don't care about that. You know, they just won't fix it anyway.
Who is on the Design and Review Board? Let's hear some names.
Think Martin Presley, isn't he the chairman? I think he is.
He was.
He was?
He still is. He still is.
Yeah, he still is. You know, it's just absolutely, you know.
Or as we call him, Martin No.
That's right. Well, you know, Richard, it's very similar.
Well, actually, Hal's the chairman of the Design and Review Board. Martin's the chairman of the whole planning.
Well, there's your other problem.
So.
Hal's my landlord, and I like Hal, but he always thinks he can think of a better way things should be done. And I'm sorry, this is not Madison, Georgia. They want us to look like Madison, but we got to get the money that Madison has to do the things that Madison does.
But you know, the thing about this Forsyth Design and Review Board, they reject it. And Richard, you and I can relate to this very much so. When it comes to zoning, or whatever they want to do on the county commissioners, the zoning board can say no, or the zoning board can say yes, and the commissioners have the final say.
That's right.
Isn't the city combining the Design and Review and the zoning board?
I don't know.
Which would be a good move.
Who's on which one anyway?
Yeah, they don't ever show up.
We just had to look to find out who the chairman was of the two boards.
They don't ever show up.
It's just amazing.
It chaps me.
And
you know, the poor folks at the Rose City, these volunteers who are going to be featured, by the way.
And you know, I've contributed to the Rose Theater Fund. You know, and a lot of people have. Maybe what these people are doing on Design and Review Board, instead of them donate, they want to become patrons and get a brick in the floor. That's what they ought to do. You know?
Well, if they don't like the way that they're proposing it, they ought to be the ones to come up with a better idea, and they ought to bankroll it.
Come on, that ain't gonna happen. You know it. You know, I tell you what, I just visited. I was on this railroad trip out in Colorado, riding 6 trains.
At the same time?
Oh well, don't be a smart about that. But anyway, it just amazed me how to stop in these little small towns. One town had 2,000 people, the city of Leadville, Colorado. And they have a train museum, and was talking to the director, and we said, you know, tell us, because we visited probably 20 train museums and talked with directors. But anyway, Leadville, let me go back to Leadville, town 2,000 population. And great depot, train museum, and all. And we just asked, ask, well, how many people do y'all get that come to this Leadville Depot, which is almost in the middle of nowhere? You can look out there in Leadville and see coyotes. But anyway, back to my story. No, they said they have around 60,000 people to visit that train museum.
Wow.
And the director was saying it has just livened up this town.
Is that in the Rocky Mountains? Is it mountainous town? Or is it kind
No,
of
this
a
is
plateau?
not, but Silverton is now, which is north of, Silverton is another very classic example, an old mining town. And the director of the museum there said they had over 350,000 people to visit. Now, yes, some of them come in on the train, but a lot of bus tours come and they go through the train museum and the train depot. And the town is just fantastically growing. Unique shops, unique restaurants, just an experience.
A lot of pot places.
Oh yeah, you see pot places, not in Silverton now, but yeah, there was one in Silverton.
But
yes,
tourism is a big part of Colorado's economy, isn't it?
Yeah, and Colorado has capitalized on it.
Have you ever been to Telluride?
Yes.
That's on my bucket list. I want to go to Telluride.
It's a bit,
So it looks
well,
beautiful.
they got a train in Telluride, and
It's in a box canyon, right?
that's right. But anyway, I've got a problem, and I'm going to air it on the radio. So, Eric, Mayor Forsyth, get ready for an answer. We get there on this train, and we're talking to people, and we tell them about our collection, and we offered it to the city of Forsyth, and they said, well, did they take it? And I said, no, we waited 2.5 years. They said, why doesn't the city recognize that as a tourist attraction? So, that's a good question to ask Eric, I guess, member of the city council. But anyway, I'm gonna get off that tangent. Let's go back to Forsyth.
I haven't seen it.
Who posted it? Was it the Imani
I was a
campaign?
reporter.
Oh.
I thought, yeah, I'm serious. So,
Look that
it's there.
Okay,
But
thank you.
anyway,
Tell me something I didn't know.
saw Imani do it, and I saw Gonzalez, but I didn't see Peters.
Well, he was there in the flesh. There's his picture right there on the front of the paper. And it was a healthy
Were you
debate.
shocked?
Yes, I had no idea.
Well, what you do?
The Gonzalez quit.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I was shocked when I arrived and I didn't see him. And I asked somebody, "Oh, did Randy not make it?" He said he quit.
Oh wow.
No, he quit, but he endorsed George Imani. And
I tell you what, it's going to be very interesting up there because I'm going to tell you a little secret. The High Falls area, this district up there is strange. You've got a lot of newcomers up there. In the River Forest subdivision, you've got a lot of newcomers. But you got some people that living in High Falls that have been there for a long time. So
old school.
Old school.
Monroe
So it's going to be real interesting.
Yeah, you got it.
My prediction is going to be close. It may be 2 votes like it was with what's his
They
name.
want to have a recount. Let's hope not.
Probably.
Let's hope not.
Well, one thing about it, because of Gonzalez dropping out, Richard pointed out we're not going to have a runoff now because somebody's probably going to get to 50%. Although Randy's name will probably still be on the ballot.
Probably. But
that would be awful if he got like 5% and that kept somebody from getting.
Yeah.
49.9%.
Hey, explain something to me. Y'all explain something to me. The Culloden city election was canceled because there was no opposition. To be a write-in candidate, I thought you just had to write somebody's name in.
Well, now you can write anybody's name in, but for them to actually have a chance to win, they have to go through an official process of being a write-in candidate.
Oh,
They
really?
have to get a certain number of signatures and turn it in before a certain date before
For
the
them to
election.
actually serve if they were to be elected.
Right.
What now?
For them to actually serve if they were elected. Like Donald Duck couldn't actually take office.
Why?
Well,
He did.
We've
didn't-
already.
he didn't get all the signatures.
we've already-
He's a quack.
Yeah, he's a quack. He's a quack. But I think the opportunity ought to be is, hey, if you write in, if a write-in candidate gets, more votes or more write-ins than the other candidate, why in the heck shouldn't he be elected? That's my.
I certainly think county commission meetings would be a lot better if a cartoon character showed up and sat
Yeah.
down and
Hey.
We don't have any
Hey,
on the.
we've already got 4 cartoon characters.
It's
man,
the
come
clown
on.
show. County Clown Show.
Richard and I'm glad the camera's not on Richard and I when we're there because we roll our eyes and we laugh.
Your jaw's on the floor.
Oh, gee.
It probably is on us. It gets so, from the back, it probably catches us.
Yeah, it was really funny. I was talking to a lady, to a fellow who went to his first county commissioners meeting. This was about a month or so ago, and I said, well, what do you think? He said, I know why you write what you write.
And they've gotten a lot more tame lately without Jared Lovett.
Yeah.
It's a whole new group. Whole new day in Monroe County. Don, one of the things that was interesting to me, both of the remaining candidates for District 4, the vote pretty much, from what my sources tell me, the Dollar General that wants to go to Rum Creek, is pretty much 2-2. Whereas I think that
You talking about the robbery store?
Dollar stores are getting robbed a lot, but they want to put another one over there by Rum Creek where the new roundabout is going on, corner of Highway 18 and 87. So anyway, it's kind of a big crowd of 200-something people turned out and said, we don't want this. So the commissioners postponed it until this election happens. Well, if you read the story in this week's Reporter, you find out that Georgia Mommy and Barry Peters both said, you know what? If we want to grow, we've got to be a welcoming place for business. We would vote for the rezoning for Dollar General.
That's right.
So that's going to upset a lot of people, but that's not their district. So
it's pretty sad there's so little industry around here that we're talking about a store at the corner of a intersection rather than some kind of distribution center or something. That's going to swing a race for a county commission.
I have something to say to that.
Go ahead, then I got one to say to you.
What is this theory that they call butterfly theory, butterfly wings theory? You ever heard of this?
Butterfly
Float
effect.
Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Wasn't it Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
Because one of the smallest creatures, the butterfly, when it waves its wings, it can make things happen. A branch could fall, and how just one little insignificant thing like that can be a domino effect and can affect all of history. So my point is, even something insignificant like a Dollar General could set off a domino effect.
No, it won't.
If you reject it and word gets out in middle Georgia and the state of Georgia that they don't allow anything in Monroe County.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with
if we
that.
accept it, it's still not going to do a thing.
Yeah, maybe not.
It was very interesting. Two things real fast. Is the county commission chairman made a comment that, hey, we need more industry. But have you seen the story about Amazon wanting to come to Georgia? Amazon, okay. And they have said, Atlanta has said, Fulton County has said, hey, if you come to Atlanta, we will rename the area Amazon City.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, now here's the interesting thing. I've come up with a concept. They ought to come to Forsyth and they rename Forsyth Amazon City so we won't get confused with Forsyth County.
I'm all for that.
I think they should come to your district and we'll rename the Talladega River the Amazon.
There you go.
I think that's a great
It'll
idea.
be the U.S. version.
I wonder how the city's, I say this tongue in cheek, how the city's economic development director and the development authority of Monroe County director, or what's he called, president?
Yeah,
I wonder how they get along.
President Bo.
Yeah, Stockman.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of industry, we've got breaking news.
Break it.
Be in the paper in a couple of weeks. It won't go before the zoning board in the county until the end of the month, October 30th, I think. But a concrete plant facility is going to wants to come to Johnstonville Road, pour concrete forms, and have them hauled off from there. So, hey, there you go. New industry coming to Monroe County.
You want to bet on it getting there?
Oh, you think it's going to be voted down?
Oh, heck yeah. The chances are 50-50.
Depends on how close it is to somebody's house.
That's right. No. How close it is to somebody's cows.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it will not go before the commissioners until after the election. So that district will have representation by the time it finally gets there.
I've got some
the night
breaking
of
news.
the election, it's scheduled,
Oh, really?
but they may move that
They
meeting.
may put it off, yeah.
Okay, I got some breaking news.
Break it.
You ready?
Yes.
The egg farm, the hen farm.
Yeah. It's
the
coming.
land's for sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Big old sign out
I wanted
there.
to buy some.
Sir?
Not coming.
The land's for sale.
I wanted to buy some free range eggs.
We'll get your own damn chicken.
Well, they're sunny side up.
That's right. Oh, Jesus.
I don't
But
live.
anyway, I thought that was interesting. Is that this chicken, the eggplant.
That was supposed to be one of Tiffany Andrews' big successes.
Oh my God! In her opinion. Okay.
Okay, so the project scrambled? That's terrible.
Dude, you ain't jumping in here to help me this morning, We're gonna rename this a damn comedy
I
hour.
might say that development authority has an egg on his face.
One of the best supplements.
Stop it.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Keep moving.
Okay, let's see what's breaking down in Bolingbroke. This Bolingbroke thing is just really nice. She just does a great job. Vicky Smith just does.
Vicky's a jewel of a lady, and a lot going on in Bolingbroke. Where are you gonna start? You got something to choose
I'm just
from.
talking about everything she's got going on.
You gotta tell people what that is.
Well,
You want me to tell them?
Hey, read the paper. Hey, go get you a paper and go to section 1C that says Destination Bolingbroke.
All right, there you
But
go.
There you go.
the best Bolingbroke story in the paper is not on that page.
Uh-oh. Where is it?
It's on the back of the front section.
What
It's
is it?
a story about a cow.
Dude, we talked before we got on the radio
Yeah.
about the cow, and I was hoping
So,
that we would not have a
We
dead
avoid
cow.
it.
So a dead cow is what you
He
get.
loves the cow story.
I know he does.
I was
He does. He
hoping-
does.
I wanted
The
to-
cow knew that it was going to get killed, so it escaped.
I wanted to milk it some more. But
Oh,
if y'all-
come on, man.
If y'all don't want to.
I'm going to tell you something.
Sorry, it's really
Y'all-
deep in here.
Y'all,
Patties everywhere.
Y'all, he is gone. His elevator is stuck between
Was it
floors.
the real cow we had a picture of with sunglasses on? That wasn't it.
Amazingly enough, that was not
That
an
was
actual
shocking.
cow. I know you could think.
Hey, dude, it's nice we're having weather, isn't it?
It is. It's beautiful.
Oh,
There's a hell of a lot of dirt on the ground.
We ain't even
this time
talking
of year,
about. We have not even discussed the biggest this buzz on the street this week in Monroe County. The story this week.
Oh, I got a breaking story too.
Okay, go.
You ready?
Yeah.
We were talking about changing the
We got
city
11.
name
We got 11 minutes.
changing the name of Forsyth to Amazon.
We already talked about that.
What I know, I know.
Follow up.
Yes, it's follow up. I understand that there's some legislation that might be proposed to rename Forsyth Otisville or Ingramtown.
Yeah, he's bought up a lot of property. He is developing his senior center there at Forsyth Station, and he has bought Ann's Deli and has its good tenant there. And Greg Goolsby, who's opened the Pickled Oak, are there. Have you checked out the new bar yet? Have you gone there to watch
No.
football? Okay, well, it's.
I don't like hanging around drunks.
Okay, well, good. Good.
I like to get drunk at home and I hang around with myself.
Y'all can edit that out of this
You don't have to edit
family-friendly
that
show.
out. Yep.
But yeah, and then Otis has now bought the old Prime Palette Royal Palm building, and we think he's going to put an Italian restaurant in there. And if you noticed, he sprayed all the walls. He's getting all the paint off to leave the original red brick.
He's only done one little part. Do you stop?
I don't know what. Maybe it was coming inside. He's going to have to do what the Rose did.
Well, then he needs to talk to
Designer review board needs to
Yeah,
discuss
that's
it.
right. That needs. All right, let's get serious here for a minute. This Sunday night was probably one of the most shocking times that I've ever seen. 59 people.
Did you know it? I didn't know till I woke up Monday morning.
I saw it Sunday night.
You saw the news,
Right, Sunday night. But that is just so sad. But you have a story on your front page that a Forsyth native was there at the concert and she survived. And tell us more.
An incredible story. Her name is Angela Williams, and she graduated from Monroe Academy class of '94.
Okay.
And she and Jason, Jason Aldean grew up right here in Forsyth and Macon, and he had a lot of friends from Monroe County. And his band that he played in, what was the name of that band that they had?
I don't remember.
The Aldine Band.
Okay, well,
Matt Pittman was a member.
Matt Pittman was a member. Before he went big, he had a group of friends here in Monroe County and Macon that they played together, and she was a friend, and she lives in California now, and she posted on her Facebook page about 2 weeks ago, hey, who's going to the Highway 91, Route 91 country concert? And one friend, another EMT said, hey, I'm going, and so she did go. She had a backstage pass, being friends with Aldean. She was able to get backstage, and as you know, Don, it was when Aldean got on, I guess. I don't know how many songs he sang before it happened.
I don't know.
But he was on stage and you've seen the video, maybe you've seen the video when the rat tat 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 of the worst massacre in a shooting in American history. 58 people perished. 59 and 400 and something injured. And she didn't want to talk about it. Of course, her mother, Diane Williams, works in our magistrate court here in Monroe County, and neither one of them obviously wanted to talk about it. A very sensitive and frightening, I'm sure, situation. But she did post on her Facebook page after we went to press, how thankful she was to Aldean's head of security.
Yes.
She said that he summoned them up on stage to get them back behind stage so they could hide. And she said, running for my life, she said, my only thought was, God, I want to see my daughter again. She had a 3-year-old girl that was at home. Wow. And a young girl. And so anyway.
Well, it's just amazing to me how Forsyth, located where we are, how many people experience national youth events.
You're right, and I was joking here at the office. I said, well, how are we going to localize this? Thinking there's no way. And Richard had heard about Miss Williams, and that was what allowed us to do the story. So glad that she's okay, and of course the effects of this will reverberate. I think Aldean's canceled a lot of his concerts. And
he was supposed to be in LA and San Diego this weekend. I think he canceled both of them.
Did he cancel both of them, you think?
Yeah.
The whole nation is obviously rocked back by this, and I think the big thing, Don, what's weird is we just don't know what his motive was.
But,
if his name was
you're in the news business. You're both in the news business. Who, what, when, where, how, but why is the hardest thing to discover in writing a news story. That's the hardest thing to write.
Do you have any theories?
No. I don't have any whatsoever.
As we record this on Thursday, we understand that they don't think he was alone, and which makes sense. How would a guy?
He put all his guns in a golf bag.
Really?
That's the way he got in the hospital. That's one way he got in the hospital. But anyway.
Richard, do you have any theories? You cover crime regularly and trials. You have an investigator's mind.
Give us
insight.
I mean, my guess is he'd been on law enforcement radars for a while from how many times he'd moved and how much money he was gambling. I imagine that he was well known
he was
to
a
authorities
multi-millionaire
in certain places for reasons that I haven't discovered at this point. But
Yeah, but
where maybe he was radicalized or something at some point in time. I don't know.
Yeah, the Nevada sheriff, the Las Vegas sheriff mentioned that.
Or maybe he just had a bad night at the blackjack table and he wanted to take it out on a whole bunch of people.
Well, obviously, this was not a spur of the moment thing. He had planned this out.
Oh yeah, he planned it. Yeah.
He had accumulated the weapons. He had cameras everywhere. It was a sophisticated operation.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about something else real fast.
We got
less
than 5 minutes.
Okay. All right, dude. Monroe County's property taxes. We're gonna get an increase.
Yeah, 13%. 9% as a result of the hospital referendum back in March, and then another 4% to kind of go toward salary increases, particularly in the public safety realm.
You attended those battle meetings.
Yeah, they were less exciting than usual this year. We didn't have too much opposition because most people had already approved their 9% raise anyway. So.
Yeah. So what's our millage rate gonna be now? 13. What's our millage rate gonna be?
13.331.
Just the county's portion.
Just the county's portion. We're gonna get to that other part of that story in just a second. But it's tax bills will be going out in October, and it always bugs me. Is they go out in October and they're due in December.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. They give us full cover of 2000.
You know what they ought to do? They ought to put a wreath or Santa Claus on the envelopes when they send it out.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, the gift. And now,
most people don't feel the pain of it because their mortgage company escrows it during the year, then they just mail them a check.
Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, I mean you feel it.
You feel it.
It's on paper.
That's right. But you don't still have to sit there and write a check down out to the Monroe County people who spend your money.
Yes.
And then the school board, what they do? They drop their property taxes.
Amazingly, Don, they had originally decided to keep them the same rate, and I think it was 15. Anyway,
around 15.
They ended up saying, okay, there's something called in Georgia they call it the rollback rate, which means if the value of property in the county, the total value of all the property goes up, you have to roll back your millage rate by an equal amount to avoid being called a tax increase.
That's
And
exactly right.
they wound up doing that. They rolled it back just about maybe 1/10 of a mil.
But, okay, on the first Tuesday in November, we're gonna be voting up here in District 4. What else is on the ballot?
Oh, the school board will have a e-lost tax.
You think that's gonna pass? That's a
It's
tax.
kind of flown under the radar,
It's
hasn't
all
it?
about the children. Of course, it's going to pass.
It's for the children. It's not like the hospital. It's for the sick and the elderly. You know, it's for the poor.
It's all about the children.
It's all about the children.
Children
How
are
do
the
you
future of the world.
oppose logically?
Michael Jackson told us that all the time.
Yes, he did.
We are the world. So yeah, it's probably that. You know, how often?
Do you think it's gonna pass?
Yeah. Has a spliced or a 1 cent sales tax? There's only one time it's been defeated in Monroe County.
That's right.
The last transportation tax
That's right.
that I know of.
So again, what we're trying to tell you is, yeah, up in District 4, we're gonna be voting, but all over the county, you're gonna be able to put your X mark on whether you favor a tax increase or not.
And speaking of that, we will have more information on the school board race that is going on in District 2
That's right.
down in southwest Monroe County. You guys are going to be electing a new school board member due to the death of J. Ray Grant, and so
You got Priscilla Doster.
Priscilla Doster
Grant's sister.
and his sister, and a
Steve
former
Coleman.
educator, and Steve Coleman, the surveyor. So we're going to have a debate. I'm looking at the 19th of October. It's getting hard to pull off the date, but I think it's going to be the 19th. And so look for more information about that.
Well, we're also, as we discussed before we went on the R, we discussed is we're gonna try to get the 2 candidates for District 4 commissioners to come sit down.
Yeah, I think they would, or at least I think George
We ought to
would.
do that, we ought to do that with Priscilla and Steve too.
Yeah, good idea.
We got a whole month filled up.
We do, and we're always aiming to find new ways
Good,
to.
I'll see y'all in November then.
Richard's going to get the month off.
No.
We need his insight.
I don't fit in
He
camera
he can sit behind the camera and hold up the cards is
How
what I
about-
gotta ask.
How about I'll excuse myself? They can have my chair.
No,
I'll just press record before I leave.
yeah.
Well, it's been a good show, guys.
Thank you.
We didn't talk about our local Facebook commentator who headed off to prison,
Enough.
but you can read about that in this week's edition of the Monroe
Don't
County
want to hear
Reporter.
that stuff. You don't have to. You can read about it in the report.
That's
We ain't
right.
gonna talk about it.
Any other news we need to? Oh, football. We didn't give a football report.
Oh,
Monroe versus Bulldogs played this past Friday. They host Upson Lee, former Bulldog quarterback Justin Elder, now the head coach for the Knights, and he'll be leading his team against his old alma mater. So we're looking forward to that game, and then we're off the following week. We've had 2 off weeks in a matter of about 4 weeks. 3
Thank
weeks.
goodness.
Richard's okay with that.
Oh, one last thing. The Monroe County Commissioners paid $5,455.35 to Ham's Auto Parts.
Boom. You heard it here first, folks.
That's right. You heard it here.
You know, if we had more,
They're not allowed to go to some of the other.
No, they're not allowed to.
yeah, they always
They have they're not going to put spark plugs out for bid.
the invisible hand of certain commissioners still.
No, that's not the reason.
Have a good week, everybody. Thanks for
Bye,
joining us.
y'all.
The reporter on the air all over Monroe.
I think we ought to dress up in costumes for Halloween.
See you next week.
Bye.